All right, guys. Hey, I think we're live now. This is Dr. Wiggy here. I'm sitting with my beautiful wife, Emily. We are excited to be here with everybody. If everyone wants just to say hello in the little chat box, that is active now. So, hey, Amy, how's it going? So, we're going to just kind of say hello to people that are getting started here. One thing that, and we're going to just give everyone a couple minutes to log in before we actually going into the full content of the presentation here. Hey, Priscilla. And one thing I'd encourage everyone to do if you work with Nature's Pearl, if you're a partner, or if you're just interested, why don't you everyone go on and share that link that was sent out to everyone in an email and share this on Facebook.
Yeah, one last push to get all your friends joining us tonight that might benefit from all the information we're about to share.
So actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little I'm going to put a link in there for you to actually maybe not. Because it'd be good if you guys could share that with everyone that's on this.
And actually, while we're getting excited, we want you guys to all post where you're listening from this evening. So we know we've got some people up in Canada and all over the United States. So if you would just type in where you're joining us from this evening, that would be great. We want to see where everyone is coming from.
All right, and I put a link in there if you want to copy and paste that link. Again, you can share it with all your friends. You can go to Facebook, throw it on Facebook, tell everyone to check out this awesome webinar. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. Hopefully you'll learn something. But like I said, try and get as many people on this as possible because, again, we really think this is some life-changing information. So make sure you go on and do that.
Kansas City, New York, North Carolina, Maryland, Virginia, Oklahoma, Texas.
Got the Richmond crew in here.
Virginia, Tennessee.
Deep Creek Lake. Oh yeah, and just FYI for everyone that's on this webinar, there is a bit of a delay with this software. So if it looks like we're just responding to the things a little bit later, there is probably about a 30 to 45-second delay. So if it comes across a little bit weird, that's not our fault. That's just the software that we're using.
Awesome. So we've got people from all over the place joining us this evening. We're
Utah.
so excited that you're here.
Yeah, it is all over the place. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you want to give them another minute, or do you want to go ahead and get going here? Well, hopefully everyone's starting to come on. We're getting people coming all the time. What's that? Right there. So yeah, it's about 9:05. So people probably start to continue to kind of ease their way into this, but we're going to go ahead and I guess get started, and people can join us as they come along. But again, one part of this, we're going to try and keep this pretty interactive. So if we have a question or something, we'd encourage you guys to go ahead and put a little comment in the chat box. The chat box is there. We also have a couple people that are going to be helping us out with this webinar. We have Ashley and Jack, and they'll also be answering questions kind of along the way if it's more related to kind of Nature's Pearl and some of the questions along with that. So you can kind of throw questions in along the way, and they'll try to answer those, and then we'll make sure to save some time at the end to also answer as many questions as we can. So like I said, we're just going to get started. We're going to hand this over to Ashley. She's just going to say a little introduction, and then we're going to get into the content here.
Hey everyone, this is Ashley. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications here at Nature's Pearl. I am so very excited to be on this webinar with you guys and with Dr. Wiggy and Emily. We've been working so hard over the past week to get this tuned up and ready for you all. What you're going to see is going to be amazing. It's going to be packed with information, and we've got some pretty cool stuff for you guys to win and to earn when you start this trim body transformation. As you know, Dr. Wiggy and Emily just been talking and introducing themselves, but I'm going to go into a little more detail. Dr. Wiggy is a doctor who specializes in integrative health and functional medicine, helping people achieve optimal health and wellness through a natural and holistic approach. Dr. Wiggy attended Wake Forest University Medical School, which is here locally in Winston-Salem. He graduated at the top of his class and was inducted into the prestigious Medical Honor Society. He was featured on the TV show The Doctors, where he was voted one of the most beautiful men in medicine, and he's literally helped thousands of people lose weight and achieve optimal health through his cutting-edge and innovative methods. And as you can see on the screen, Dr. Wiggy is married to his college sweetheart, Emily, who is an expert in personal training and nutrition. They have a beautiful son, Adler, which I've had the pleasure to have breakfast with at meetings at Panera, and he is a total sweetheart, and he makes our meetings so much better and so much more entertaining. And together with Dr. Wiggy and Emily, they've developed the Trim Body Shake and the Trim Body Transformation Nutrition and Fitness System. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Wiggy and Emily and let them give you all this great information that they have.
All right, thank you, Ashley. So we're going to get into the meat of the content here because, you know, we want you all to know about what you're going to learn by watching this webinar. So this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover why not being able to lose weight is not your fault. And then we do think that there is much more of a complex issue for weight loss than simply saying, okay, go, eat less and exercise more. So we want to go into some more of the intricacies of why it's so much more difficult for certain people to lose weight versus others. We're then going to go into some of the more primary reasons and the 4 hidden causes of weight loss resistance, and then actually help you figure out how they may be impacting you. And then we're also going to go over how NP Pro and the Trim Body Transformation really are game changers, and I don't use that term lightly because I really think that this is one of the best products that there is, as well as one of the best programs that there is out there, especially when it comes to achieving sustainable and realistic weight loss. And then what we also would encourage you to do is stick around and watch this to the end because there is some special announcements at the end here. So make sure you stick around for the webinar only special, as well as just a little bit of a teaser here. But there is a surprise at the very end of this webinar, and you're not going to want to miss this. This is really a pretty cool thing that they put together here. So make sure you stick around because again, this is a really good program here. So first, a little bit of background about myself and about Emily. And Emily, you can feel free to chime in here whenever you want. But the first little background about myself is that again, and Ashley did a nice job introducing me. But what I do is I practice integrative medicine. And the best way to describe that is to compare that to the difference between integrative medicine and traditional medicine. And this picture really says 1,000 words, is that integrative medicine really focuses on fixing the underlying root cause of the problem as opposed to just covering up the symptoms. So this is kind of a funny cartoon here, but this is how, you know, kind of I see traditional medicine treating patients, is that they really look at the symptom. You know, the symptom being, for lots of different people, whether it's headaches or digestive problems or weight loss resistance, the symptom right here in this picture is the wet floor. And so what we're trained to do is we're trained to identify the wet floor, and then we're going to try and cover it up. We're going to try and mop it up, again, kind of with these mops. But again, that's not necessarily the problem here. The problem in this picture is that there is a leaky faucet. And so we got to go and fix that underlying root cause. And when you fix that underlying root cause, then you don't have the symptom and you don't have the wet floor to deal with. And so again, that's kind of a simplified version. But what I do is I try and fix the underlying root cause, and that also has to deal with, you know, when people are trying to lose weight, there does tend to be an underlying problem that needs to be addressed. And so that really, again, kind of leads me into this slide, is that, you know, the problem when it comes to weight loss is that what most people are doing to lose weight, you know, really is wrong. And Emily and I, we see this every day. You know, I see people in the clinic that come in and they're like, yeah, I tried everything to lose weight, and nothing works. And then I get kind of probe a little bit more and ask a little more questions. And I say, well, okay, well, what are you eating? Let's say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or what is your exercise routine like? Or, what are these other symptoms that you're having? And a lot of times we identify a lot of other problems that need to be addressed in order for people to have successful weight loss. Because, again, what most people are doing, and Emily can kind of vouch for this too, is that most people are just trying to either starve themselves, where they just don't eat anything, or they're trying to exercise themselves to death, where they're just like working out for like 3 or 4 hours a day, and again, still not seeing results. And again, that's not only so frustrating for people, but it also just doesn't work.
And a lot of times it can actually make the opposite happen when we don't eat enough food and we're over exercising. Our bodies can compensate, and our hormones get all out of whack and everything, and can really make it that much harder to lose weight.
That's right. And because, again, what happens with what the typical or traditional recommendations are is that, again, it really says, okay, go eat less and exercise more. If you go to just kind of any product or program that's out there, that's kind of the basis of their recommendations. But the problem with that is that those programs and those products, they do not address, again, the complexities of weight loss resistance and fat loss resistance. And I really call those things, there's more complexities and intricacies, I call those the hidden causes of weight loss resistance. Not because they're necessarily so hard to uncover, but just because not a lot of people understand that there are other things that make it to be very difficult to lose weight. And so that's actually how I kind of teamed up with Nature's Pearl. I've been working with Nature's Pearl for a couple years now, and we first started just kind of talking more so because we both kind of had similar mindsets that we want to just help improve the health of everyone that we touch. Nature's Pearl wanted to do it through their muscadine grape products, and I wanted to do it through my practice here. And so we really had a nice partnership really from right from the start. And also, again, what worked out so well with teaming up with Nature's Pearl is that we're in very close proximity. So, we had people, kind of chime in about wherever they are, all over the country. And I think we had one person come in from the International Space Station. So that's they might get the prize for the farthest person away from us. But this is just a picture, again, from, you can see this is where we are. We're here in Winston-Salem. This is this little city here, just west of Greensboro. And then Nature's Pearl is just west of that in Advance. So we really were close together, and it's worked out great because we've been able to just kind of drive down the street, meet with them. We've met with them kind of, again, at Panera frequent times just up the street. So, again, we've really been able to spend a lot of time together, not only for kind of brainstorming, but also for coming up with one of the best products and one of the best programs I think that really is out there. So here's the opportunity. This is what we kind of came up with, and because, again, Nature's Pearl, they were doing awesome with just the muscadine grapeseed supplement, but they wanted to do more. They wanted to really, again, drastically and transform people's lives. I said just taking the muscadine grape capsule by itself is great, but they wanted to do more, and they really want to help people more with weight loss. And so did we. That's what Emily and I, that's really what our passion is. We wanted to help people with weight loss, again, all over the country and all over the world, because we do feel like with our joint knowledge, with my kind of clinical background and Emily's more of the nutrition and practical background, that we really had a good understanding of what it takes for people to be able to lose weight and for them to be able to keep it off. Because we all know that people that have done this, any sort of diet program, they probably can lose weight for a little bit, but then what happens is whenever they go back to kind of eating whatever they're normally eating, is that they just kind of regain all the weight again. Mm-hmm. And again, that just becomes that yo-yo diet, and becomes very frustrating for everybody. So this is what we came up with. Again, we spent a lot of time with this to come up with what we feel like is the best solution to this problem of overweight and obesity, again, in the world here. And what we came up with, again, I think is a kind of a game changer when it comes to that. And the first thing that we really developed was the protein powder here. And the protein powder, that's NP Pro. That is the plant-based, all-natural protein powder that we started and that we developed. But we wanted to do more than that. We wanted to do more than just come up with a awesome protein powder. we wanted to also put together a awesome program that really seems to, again, help people figure out a way to make this work realistically for the rest of their lives and really have awesome results here. So first, anything you wanted to share with that, or?
Yeah, just to reiterate what Dr. Wiggy said, there's a lot of products out there, and people bring products all the time and say, hey, do you like this? Have you tried this? Does this really work? All those kinds of things. And there are, products on their own without really the knowledge of how to use them and how to incorporate them into your lifestyle, and things that can be sustainable for the long run are really not of all that much use, no matter how fantastic they are. So our goal is to give people the tools that they need with the convenience and the product to be able to really make these lifestyle changes forever, to understand why they're doing them, and then to implement them in ways that work for their lifestyle, so that we're not just another fad or another quick fix. That's not our intention at all, that we're really helping people to transform their lives and to then be able to share that with others as well.
Yeah, thank you. So we're going to get into this a little bit, but one thing that would be kind of fun to see, if everyone wanted to put in the chat box what they've tried already to lose weight. Like I said, there's lots of different programs out there. There's, Weight Watchers, there's Slim Fast, there's all these different programs out there. Why don't you just kind of post in the chat box while I'm going through this? We kind of want to see what things have been tried and what has not worked for you in the past. So the thing that I'm going to start talking about now is why not being able to lose weight is not your fault. And again, a lot of times it's because of those other programs that you've tried. This doesn't work. And that really has to do with the 4 hidden causes of weight loss resistance. And there's more than just these 4 hidden causes, but I think that there's, these are some of the most important ones and some of the most powerful ones. And these include food sensitivities, insulin resistance, toxins, and inflammation. So the first thing here is food sensitivities. Now, food sensitivities is kind of a controversial term in the medical community, but I believe that this is one of the most powerful things that there is when it comes to not being able to lose weight. Because these foods, when you're eating these foods that you're having these sensitivities to, your body would basically just kind of go down into survival mode, and it's not going to really want to lose weight. But when I'm talking about it from a food sensitivity standpoint, I'm not really talking about a true food allergy, and that's a little bit of a different distinction to make. Food allergy is basically one of those reactions that you have when you know someone that eats a peanut and they swell up and they have hives and they stop breathing. That is an anaphylactic type of reaction, and that is mediated by a certain type of immunoglobulin. But I'm talking about a food sensitivity, and this is a little bit different. This is a chronic or a delayed reaction. So sometimes people don't necessarily have symptoms until 1, 2, or sometimes even 3 days later. And sometimes the only symptom that people have is that they can't lose weight. Sometimes that's it. So the most common food sensitivities, and I put the 2 biggest ones up here. The 2 biggest food sensitivities are gluten and dairy products. And by far, those are the most important ones. So whenever I have someone come in that really struggles with weight loss, and even if they're eating really well, if they're not getting off of these food sensitivities, a lot of times it makes it much harder for them to lose weight. So the top 5, and again, in kind of no particular order, but wheat and gluten is probably number 1, dairy is number 2, soy is number 3, then eggs, and then number 5 is kind of controversial, but I put yeast kind of as number 5. Tree nuts are kind of up there as well, but kind of those top 4 are the most important ones. And then, Emily, you have a kind of example of a real-life scenario that really seemed to be impacted by food sensitivities.
Absolutely. One of my clients who is extremely fit and had been working out and working really hard and eating a pretty clean diet for years, just could not lose the last 10 pounds or so, and just was really holding on to kind of a puppy look. And she eliminated dairy from her diet, and she was only having coffee creamer in the morning and a Greek yogurt as a snack. And when she did that and started incorporating the NP Pro instead of her whey shake that she had been having before, she lost 10 pounds in like a month and a half. And I mean, it was already a super fit girl, and now she's got the lean body to go along with it.
Yeah, and I have examples day in and day out of people getting off wheat and dairy. They feel so much better. they lose weight. A lot of times, other things seem to get better: headaches, digestive issues, irritable bowel. A lot of things seem to get better. So this is one of the more important and more powerful things that I do in the practice. The next issue here is insulin resistance, and this is kind of a funny picture because this shows just kind of two rotund bellies. But the reason why I throw it on is because if you have extra fat around the middle, then you most likely have some element of insulin resistance. And what happens with insulin resistance is that your body becomes sort of immune to the message from insulin. And insulin is the primary hormone that is used in order to store and to process blood sugar. So if your body is constantly exposed to high levels of blood sugar, then you are also constantly exposed to high levels of insulin. And if you have high levels of blood sugar with high levels of insulin, sooner or later your body and your cells, they start to become resistant to that message. So if you have someone always banging on the door to say, hey, let me in, let this blood sugar in, sooner or later that signal is going to be less effective, and those cells are going to be really shutting the door to that message, and they're not going to be allowing blood sugar to come in. That's why when you have insulin resistance, you often have elevated levels of sugar in your blood. So if you check like a fasting blood sugar, a lot of times that is elevated around, I don't know, around 110 or to 126 or somewhere around that range. Or if you check, like a really good test to check for kind of long-term insulin resistance is to check a hemoglobin A1C. And if your hemoglobin A1C is from like 5.7 to like 6.5, again, that shows you that there's definitely some element of insulin resistance. And this makes it very difficult to lose weight because, again, your body is basically in a fat storing mode when you have this insulin resistance, because you have all that extra blood sugar floating around and you have all that extra insulin floating around. So oftentimes you also need to address this before you're able to lose weight.
And something to keep in mind with insulin resistance, a lot of times when you first begin to adopt a healthier lifestyle, a lot of times people just start to count calories. And unfortunately, that does not take care of this problem, because you can actually be exacerbating insulin resistance with a lot of lower calorie foods, because what happens is when we reduce fat and we reduce calories, a lot of times products actually have more sugar in them than the full fat, the full fat products that they're trying to replace. And so, a lot of times what we can do is actually provide people with a way to eat actually more food so that they have less hunger, less cravings, and at the same time we're taking care of their insulin resistance, which therefore they achieve great results while they're feeling much more satisfied and able to eat heartier foods rather than the low-calorie approach that does not combat insulin resistance.
Yeah, and another point here about insulin resistance that should be made is that, yes, this a lot of times has to do with people that are overweight and they have, again, kind of a lot more abdominal obesity, but it doesn't have to be. I see a lot of people that are actually thinner that still have an element of insulin resistance just because, again, of other factors. And so just because you're not necessarily overweight, even if you don't have the right physiology, the right kind of combination of lean muscle versus kind of just overall body fat, then you can still be insulin resistant. And again, the best way to combat insulin resistance is by trying to lower the things that cause that insulin surge and lower the things that cause blood sugar. So oftentimes you do need to kind of pull back on carbohydrates, especially the starchy carbohydrates, and actually increase protein, which is to help stimulate glucagon, which is a whole other kind of webinar in itself. But it's important to kind of remember that those two hormones and how they help balance each other out. So the next thing here is your toxins.
Just wanted to tell everyone really quickly, I know we've had some people that are having some sound issues, just a few it looks like, but yes, absolutely, the webinar is being recorded and you will actually receive an email after the webinar with the link to listen to the recording. So if you're having any sound issues, that's the way. There is no call-in number because this is strictly a webinar form, but that you will get a link shortly after the webinar to be able to listen to the recording and share it as well. So just wanted to point that out quickly.
Sure. So yeah, so thanks for pointing that out. Now so this is the third hidden cause of weight loss resistance, and this is toxins. And I think that everyone, that lives in this world realizes that we live in a toxic world. There are so many different toxins and different chemicals that are floating around in our air, in our water, on the food that we eat, on our personal care products. I mean, there are toxins everywhere, and I basically consider a toxin anything that is not natural to the body. So anything that the body does not know how to process and does not know what to do with it. So if you're exposed to a lot of chemicals, then that your body is basically processing those toxins or those chemicals as a toxin, and it does have to do so through our detoxification system. There's been different studies out there about how many toxins, are we walking around with. And, the number has varied from the study to study, but when they actually look at the serum of people, or they look at the blood of people, or they look at the cord blood of babies, it's estimated there's between 100 to, I think, 400 different toxins in all of us at any given time. And that's not meant to scare you, it's just meant to show you about how real of a problem this is, that we are exposed to toxins all the time. And I also include, in that toxins category, this is, again, people might not necessarily look at these things and consider them toxic, but I consider artificial sweeteners to be a toxin, and our body really does process those things like a toxin because, again, it's not something that's natural to the body. It's not something that the body knows what to do with. So if we're eating a lot of these, different artificial sweeteners, we are putting our detoxification system on overdrive because we still have to clear those things out of our system because, again, we do not metabolize them. That's why there's 0 calories, and you do have to kind of clear them out of your system. So oftentimes, just getting rid of artificial sweeteners for people is also can make a dramatic improvement in their overall health, as well as make it much more realistic to lose weight. And then again, the other thing that I consider in this toxin category is I also consider personal care products. I don't know if you've ever actually took the time to read your labels for these different personal care products, but they are full of different toxins. And kind of a good rule of thumb is that if you do not know what the word is, then it's very likely that is a toxin, and your body's going to have to process it like a toxin. Have to go through our detoxification system here. What, do you want something to add?
Well, I was just going to say 2 things. One thing to keep in mind when you're purchasing your foods, especially things that are sugar-free, that are processed foods, you're going to a lot of times see sucralose in there, which is the generic for Splenda. And as you can see, the pink, blue, and yellow packets are all considered toxins. So be very cautious when you're thinking that you're making a good choice with a sugar-free product or a lower sugar product. Do read those labels carefully and look out for sucralose. And also, I've learned a lot since working with Nature's Pearl about what the toxins that are in our skincare and personal care products. And one thing to keep in mind, anything that mentions non-toxic on the label, all that means is that less than 50% of the animals it was tested on died either during testing or within 2 weeks afterward. That is the only thing that non-toxic means. So it is really, really important to make sure that your products are toxic free. And if you're looking for a great skincare line, I've myself had great success with Nature's Pearl, and that's of course not what we're talking about tonight, but do talk to your Nature's Pearl partner if that's something that is of concern to you as well.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and again, the problem with these toxins, again, besides our body having to clear them out of our system, is that, again, with the whole point of this webinar is that it also makes it very hard to lose weight, because what happens when our bodies are constantly exposed to toxins is that these toxins, they have to go somewhere. If we're not able to clear them out of our system, then what happens is our body actually sequesters them in our fat. And so when our body kind of goes and stores these toxins in our fat, it's not going to want to release these toxins into our system until our body is ready to handle those toxins. And so a lot of times, as part of a comprehensive weight loss plan, is that we also have to enhance the detoxification system, as well as reducing the exposure to certain toxins. So that's why, again, whenever we're trying to help people lose weight, one of the first things we recommend is oftentimes getting off of these artificial sweeteners, and also looking at your personal skincare line. All right, the next thing here, so that's the first three. This is the fourth hidden cause of weight loss resistance, and this is inflammation. And inflammation, you guys have probably heard this term. This term has been thrown out there, for probably the last 10 or 20 years. But it really kind of came to be more well known when it hit the cover of Time magazine, and they're calling this the secret killer, and I'm calling it the hidden cause of weight loss resistance. But because this secret killer really is linked with pretty much all forms of chronic diseases. It is linked. They're calling heart attacks. They're saying cancer. They're saying Alzheimer's. There are so many different chronic diseases that are linked to inflammation. And I think that really, if you're going to boil it down to it, pretty much all chronic diseases are linked to some degree with inflammation. But I also think that most weight loss resistance can almost always be linked to some degree to too much inflammation. And one of the best tests that I do, and I do this on a lot of people, again, that come into the practice, is that I like to see kind of what their inflammation level is, how much inflammation they have in their blood at any given time. So oftentimes I'll check a CRP level, a C-reactive protein test, and that tells us how much inflammation is going on in the body at any given time. And you'd be surprised, again, there's so many people that are walking around with high levels of inflammation and they don't even realize it. But again, this is something you do need to identify and you do need to address whenever you're trying to lose weight, because what happens is when you have high levels of inflammation, you turn it into kind of this vicious cycle where you have high levels of inflammation, and then that causes the release of certain signals, and these inflammatory cytokines and eicosanoids, they go and they cause your body to gain weight. That's just kind of the way our body responds to it. When our body gains weight, we actually have an increase in the fat cells in our body, and these fat cells, then they go and they release more inflammatory signals. So then you get an increase in inflammation, and then you get an increase in signals, which cause more weight gain, and then you get more inflammatory signals cause inflammation. So it does become kind of this vicious cycle, and one of the key steps to helping people, again, lose weight is to help control this inflammatory cycle, and you really have to shut it off, because until you shut this off, again, your body's not going to be in the state where it's ready to lose weight. All right, anything else about inflammation then?
No, we'll talk a little bit later now about how Nature's Pearl and the unique compounds in the muscadine supplement do really tackle inflammation. But I think for right now, we can just move on to the quiz.
Okay, so here, I want you guys to go and get a pen and paper if you did not have one. I'll give you just a couple of seconds to do that. Hopefully you have one that's handy, because now we want to try and identify what specific underlying root causes could be part of your problem. So like I said, go and grab a pen and paper, and we're going to just do a quick quiz here for you guys to kind of figure out what specific issues you need to go after. So here's the quiz. So again, are these root causes part of your problem? And I've kind of broken down the four major hidden causes of weight loss resistance: the food sensitivities, the insulin resistance, the toxins, and the inflammation. And I broke those all down into this little table here. And what I want you to do is I want you to go kind of make four different columns, or four different, I don't know, just different areas where you want to be keeping track of your score for each of these things. And then what I want you to do is basically just read the word of the question and say yes or no. And just give a little check next to that. So like say for food sensitivities, for example, say, am I constipated? Do I have diarrhea? Do I have headaches? Do I have acid reflux? Am I frequently sick? Am I tired all the time? Do I have any sort of skin condition like eczema or psoriasis or rosacea? Do I have a lot of chronic sinus congestion or a lot of allergy symptoms? So just kind of go through each of these things, make a little yes, no, again, down all these things, and then we're gonna want to add up all those results to kind of see what each of these things are for you.
And while you guys are doing that, there's a couple of questions that I see that maybe we can answer during this time too. There was a question about what sweetener is best to use, and our best advice for that is natural stevia. And you have to be very careful with this, because marketers know now that people want to buy stevia, and you will find a lot of things that have just a little bit of stevia in them and a lot of something else more artificial. So look at your labels. There's liquid form of stevia as well as powdered, and you want to get something as natural as possible. Organic stevia leaf should be pretty much the only ingredient in there. And something else I saw that you might want to answer really quickly is someone asked what exactly gets inflamed with inflammation?
Well, there's not necessarily a specific source. Sometimes there is. If you have a joint injury, you can know that that is, the part that's inflamed, and that can cause systemic inflammation in your blood. Or if you stub your toe, if you have some sort of acute injury, then you know that something's inflamed like that. But if it is just kind of this chronic or underlying inflammation, a lot of times there's not one identifiable source. But frequently where, again, most of the inflammatory signals are coming from, a lot of times it's coming from the gut. That's where it starts, because inflammation at its source really is an immune system reaction on overdrive. So if you're having lots of different food sensitivities, if you're getting exposed to a lot of pesticides, toxins in the food, if you have a yeast overgrowth, or if you have bacterial dysbiosis, all those different things can cause inflammation. And then what you see is that you have high levels of CRP in your blood. And it's really cool to see when you make those dietary changes and when you try a couple of different anti-inflammatory supplements, you can really see how quickly CRP levels dropped. I just had a patient the other day that had a CRP initially at 16. And if anyone's in medicine, the CRP level of 16, that's high. I mean, that is a ridiculously high CRP level. But what we did, we cleaned up her diet, we fixed some other things. We actually got her started on the muscadine grapeseed supplement, and her CRP level went to less than 1 in like 4 weeks. It was crazy. Again, that's not a typical result, but that was just a really cool response about how quickly that can happen. So hopefully you guys had enough time to go through that, and hopefully I didn't distract you too much with that story. But what we want you to do is, again, go through all these things, and now what we want you to do is we want you to add up all of your yes answers to this quiz. And what we want you to do is type in your number that you scored. We want to see who had the highest number here. I think the highest number you possibly could get would be 6, 7, 8. It'd be what, 24, 31, I think. So let's see who has the highest score out of everyone that did this quiz. And if you don't want to put your number in there, that's okay. But it's just kind of interesting to see about people that have so many symptoms, and they're still not feeling, or they have not addressed any of these underlying root causes here. All right, so we're going to keep moving on here, but we'll keep an eye out for those numbers as we go along, because, like I said, there is a little bit of a delay, but we'll maybe congratulate the person with the highest score here. Here's some numbers that are starting to come in here. 21, that's pretty good. Okay, so we're seeing quite a few high numbers, and really, again, the point to make of this, again, it doesn't necessarily matter your exact number. It just really matters about the higher the number, the more of a problem that this is for you, and more of a likelihood that all these issues are something that need to be addressed. So again, not meant to scare you. It just means a lot of times, again, we need to kind of refocus our efforts to some degree. All right, so then if you had a high score, and I think we're saying the 20s. 20s are pretty high, and there's some people in the kind of teens, and some in there around the 10. But really, if you answered yes to any of these things, very likely there's some element of any of these things going on. So what can you do? And again, that really comes back to our solution here, because what we designed this protein powder and this program to do is we designed this to address all those hidden causes of weight loss resistance. And I'm going to go into a little more specifics about NP Pro, the protein powder, and why we designed it the way that we did, and again, in order to address all those underlying causes. So the first thing that we had to set up whenever we were deciding how we're going to make this, the first decision was to make is that what should we use for our base? And pretty much any protein powder that's out there that's from kind of the major markets or whatever, they almost always use a dairy product as their base for their protein powder. If you pull out a protein powder that's in your cabinet, it's very likely that it's going to be made from either whey or from casein, and both of those are dairy products. And if it's not made from whey or casein, then the next thing on the list probably is soy. And and all those things, if you remember, the top really the top 3 are wheat or gluten, dairy, and soy. Those are the top 3 food sensitivities. And so a lot of times we want to make sure we didn't use dairy, we didn't use soy. So what we decided to do is we decided to use green pea protein instead. And green pea protein is probably the least allergenic and probably one of the most absorbable forms of protein that's out there. The other thing we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure it had the right ratio of carbohydrates to protein. Because again, when we're trying to look at insulin resistance and blood sugar, again, one of the key things here is you want to be making sure you're higher in protein and you're lower in carbs. So again, a lot of the other protein powders that are out there, especially if they're plant-based, they are loaded with sugar. So you might have, let's say, I don't know, 16 grams of protein, but then you look at the carb count and there's 24 grams of carbohydrates. And again, that ratio is not what you want to be looking for, because again, that's going to continue to fuel that insulin resistance, and that's going to continue to fuel that elevation in your blood sugar. So we want to make sure it's high in protein. I think we have 16 grams of protein in our powder, and then we also wanted it to be low carb. So we have very low carbs in our protein powder. The next thing, again, we want when we made this, we want to make sure this was as clean and as natural as possible. So we want to make sure it's toxic free. So again, one of the decisions we made is that we don't want anything artificial in this. And again, I consider all these things toxins to some degree. So we said no artificial sweeteners, no artificial dyes, no artificial preservatives. We didn't want anything in there that our body doesn't know what to do with it. So instead of using sucralose, which is the most common thing that's used for a sweetener, we decided to use again stevia and just a little bit of just natural cane sugar. We kind of balance out the sweetness. Anything else to add about that?
Another thing that is not included is artificial flavoring, because it is very difficult to find a protein powder that does not include artificial flavors. That's right. Another toxin, and we're seeing more and more about flavorings recently as well.
That's right. And then the other thing here is that we want to also make it anti-inflammatory, because again, if you remember back to that slide about the inflammation and the vicious cycle, is that you have to shut down that cycle. You have to shut down inflammation and the weight gain cycle, because until you do that, again, weight loss is going to be much more difficult. So that's why we also made sure that we enhanced this protein powder with muscadine grape seed and skin, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about how powerful that addition is to the protein powder.
And one last point, we also wanted to make sure it tasted fantastic, because in our practice, we had tried a lot of products and we tried pretty much everything out there that was low allergen, or allergen free, and just could not find something that satisfied both our taste buds as well as those of our clients and patients. And so it was very, very important to us that this tastes amazing and is something that could simply easily mix with water and was palatable and tasted great, on an everyday basis, not something that people were going to feel like they had to choke down or cover up the flavor with a lot of extra added things. And I think from all of the feedback we've gotten over the past 6 months or longer, that we definitely have hit the nail on the head with that one, because this stuff tastes great. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about muscadine.
Yeah, so again, we just wanted to highlight a little bit about the importance of having the muscadine, grape seed, and skin in the protein powder. And hopefully a lot of you guys are familiar with this, but some of you may not be. So I'm going to go into a little bit more of the science behind the importance of the muscadine grape. So just a little background here. They grow in the southeast. They grow in the hot, humid, disease-prone climate of the southeastern United States. It's actually the state fruit of North Carolina, which is pretty cool. That's our state. But what's kind of neat about it is that, like our immune system, again, which provides more antibodies when they're under attack, the muscadine grapes also produce more what they call phenolic compounds, which is the antioxidants or the phytonutrients that respond to stress from the environment or disease. And actually, this is not really a good picture of what kind of a muscadine grape looks like, because if you're familiar with the grape, you know that the skin oftentimes can look kind of marked, and it can look kind of scarred. And that's what's so cool about the muscadine grape. It actually has the ability to heal itself. So, like if a bird comes and kind of pecks a little hole in the shell of the muscadine, it has the power to actually go and to kind of heal off that wound. And now, and there's nothing else really that I know of that does it. You don't really see any blueberries that go and heal off a wound like that. But the muscadine grape in itself is one of the only fruits that's able to do that. And it's able to do that because of its unique genetic composition. So if you look at just kind of the typical table grape, and we all know that grapes in themselves are good for you because you probably have heard about wine and red wine and why it's so good for you. It's because of those phenolic compounds, like resveratrol, like ellagic acid, like quercetin. Just a typical grape has those things. But with the muscadine grape, it has an extra set of chromosomes. So instead of the normal 19 chromosomes that like with normal table grapes has, it has 20 chromosomes, and that extra chromosome is what seems to set it apart, again, from an antioxidant standpoint, but also from a healing standpoint. And this is kind of a cool chart that that was put together. Again, just kind of showing you the powerful combination of phytonutrients because all these phytonutrients are very important for our overall health, and we kind of listed some of the most important ones. Again, I'm not sure about the exact number of different phytonutrients that the muscadine has. It has, hundreds. But these are, again, some of the most important ones and some of the most well-studied. Like ellagic acid, flavonoids, resveratrol, quercetin, gallic acid, all those things are in the muscadine grape. And if you take let's take another example, like the blueberry. The blueberry, it has some good things in it. It has ellagic acid, it has the flavonoids, it has the resveratrol, it has the quercetin, but doesn't have any of the other phytonutrients in it. And also look at let's look at the cranberries. Those things, those don't really have much of anything else besides ellagic acid and resveratrol and the anthocyanins. So again, it's really kind of shows you just how powerful the muscadine grape is by itself. And because of that extra chromosome, this also sets it apart again from not only an inflammatory standpoint, but also from an antioxidant standpoint. So again, if you look at this chart here, if you look at the antioxidant capacity of what's one of the more powerful ones, like acai berry. Again, it's a powerful antioxidant in itself, but its ORAC rating is 167. Whereas if you look at the muscadine grape seed, it is at 895. And again, those are kind of ridiculous numbers there, but it just shows you again how powerful that is compared to a lot of these other food substances out there. And again, we're not just making this stuff up. They're doing research all over the place on this thing because really this is probably the most powerful superfruit out there that I know of. So they're doing research at Clemson, at Johns Hopkins. They're definitely doing it at Wake Forest University. So they're doing research all over. And if you're new to this, if you haven't really familiarized yourself with muscadine grape, what I encourage you to do, actually I'm not sure if you have access to it, but try to go to pubmed.gov. That's what we use for kind of our literature search as physicians, and just type in muscadine grape and just see how many different articles you get. There's I don't know, I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of articles all talking about kind of some of the health benefits of the muscadine grape, as well as some of the phytonutrients that are in the muscadine. And one of those particular studies that you can find probably is this one study that was written in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. And this was actually looking to see if it has an effect inside of the human body. Because a lot of the studies that you probably find, they're more done on kind of animal studies. But this one actually looked at the effect of the muscadine grape on human studies, and they looked at vasodilation, or how much increased the size of the brachial artery. Because when you're taking something, and if you commit to taking something for a long term, you want to make sure that it's doing something inside of your body. You don't want to just be creating expensive urine. You want to make sure that this is actually going and doing some effect in the body. And how they determined that there was actually some effect was that they measured the brachial artery, and they did it for those that were taking the muscadine supplement and those that were not. And what they identified was that it actually increased the brachial artery by 4.44%. And while that might seem like a lot, that's actually a pretty big difference. And if you think about it, that is all that's all that powerful antioxidants and all that powerful anti-inflammatory phytonutrients that are going and they're flowing through your blood, and they're basically relaxing off your blood vessels because the blood vessels are healthier. So this just kind of gives you a little bit more of a graphic representation of that. But you can see about Nature's Pearl, when they were taking it before and afterwards, they did see a statistically significant difference in the brachial artery. So that is kind of those are the 4 hidden causes of weight loss resistance, and that is also how NP Pro was developed, and specifically how to help address those underlying causes. So let's just get a little chat box going. Who thinks NP Pro can help them lose weight and feel better? Again, we'll kind of just keep moving along here. We'll keep an eye on your chat messages here. But besides just being an awesome protein powder, we also wanted to put together a program that teaches people not just how to use a protein powder, but teaches them how to eat well and to start being, again, as healthy as they possibly can be. And that program we put together was a Trim Body Transformation. I'm going to turn it over to Emily to tell you more about it.
Thank you. So the Trim Body Transformation, as we said earlier, the last thing that we would want to do is to create a product and just hand it to someone with a piece of paper with a food plan on it that says, this is what you're supposed to do, good luck. That just doesn't work. Box programs typically do not work, and anyone that just hands you something, a product and a guide, and says, here, do this, and you do this for 12 weeks and you're going to lose all this weight, and then that's it. That's just not realistic, and it's not sustainable, and I've watched far too many people do that and yo-yo up and down for years and never find the solution. And so when we were developing NP Pro and the Trim Body Transformation, we wanted to provide our participants and those that use our program with a lifestyle change that they could really take with them forever. And how the Trim Body Transformation works is it's 3 phases. And the phases are 4 weeks each. The first phase is called the Kickstart, and this is where we lay some nutrition ground rules, and this part is actually pretty specific, and it is a little bit boxed in some ways, as far as we all follow kind of the same principles just to get started for those first 4 weeks. And this is where we eliminate those food sensitivities. We incorporate the 2 shakes per day in our diet. We begin leisure walking for the first 2 weeks, and then the second 2 weeks we offer a short 15-minute body weight only exercise video that we encourage those that are able to begin as well. In phase 2, we call this change gears, and that's because this is where we begin to listen to our body's unique feedback and how our results, as well as things like our hunger and our energy and our cravings, to see where we might need to make some minor tweaks as individuals so that we are giving our individual bodies exactly what they need to continue with results, or to make some changes if we have any hunger or energy or craving issues. And we have a very systemized strategic approach of how to address those things. In addition to that, this is where we begin to do our 2 weight training workouts per week, and we have videos that we provide for that as well. Again, that part is optional. It's not, everybody cannot exercise and lift weights, and we understand that, but we do definitely encourage everyone to keep walking, and if you're able, to begin to incorporate these rest-based 15-minute workouts into your routine as well. The final phase is called Cruise, and this is where we really adjust to that lifestyle mindset. So we often see people that will stick with something for 2 months, 3 months, maybe even a year, and then life begins to happen, life circumstances change. People run out of willpower, they get bored with what they're doing, whatever it might be, and then slowly but surely fall back into old habits. And if you haven't done it yourself, you've watched someone else do it. And so our goal is to preemptively think about what those challenges might be, how we can prepare for them, and how we can adjust what we're doing to make it to something that we can really do sustainably forever, rather than relying on willpower or just trying to follow a program forever. To really learn and understand why these things are important, what parts of our nutrition we really need to prioritize, and what things might not be quite as important for you as an individual. And so it's a lot of information, it's a lot of grasping a new change, but it works, and we have seen phenomenal results. So tonight we want to offer you a webinar only special. We do not do this often. This, typically we do have our 12-week transformation in the materials, but for tonight only, we are, go ahead. We're going to offer you an opportunity to be walked through and coached through the 12-week Trim Body Transformation by a coach. And this is going to include unlimited access to answer all of your questions via our closed Facebook page that is only for September 2014 Trim Body Transformation participants. Weekly support emails that go along with where we are in each phase of the process. This also includes recipes. It includes a breakdown of where we are and what we're trying to do, and trying to figure out where you are and what your unique challenges are at that time. Again, recipes, like I just mentioned, we also include additional recipes on the Facebook page. We encourage our participants to share those, as well as our coach. She has lots of great recipes. Exercise guidance. So if you do have questions about the exercise videos or whether exercise might be right for you at that stage of the game, then we can definitely work and answer those questions. Accountability. This is huge. So we all start together and we all go through this process together. Research shows that people who have a support system and have an accountability partner are almost 80% more likely to stick with it. And in our last go-round that we began in May, the group was a tight-knit, supportive every single day, checking in with people that were having challenging weeks, and it was just really a great experience with that accountability and encouragement that came with the group setting, and having access to a one-of-a-kind coach. And also, of course, the support of the coach that we have. And the best part about this is it's $1,000 value, and I would say that's probably a minimum, because if you were to hire a personal trainer to work with a few times a week, as well as a customized nutrition plan and a way to check in with them on a daily basis, then definitely we're talking about at least $1,000 here over the course of our 12 weeks. So we are super excited to be able to start our September 2014 transformation group with you on the call. With those of us on the call tonight, you're who is going to make up our group. So we cannot wait to get started with that. And we're going to have some more details of exactly what you need to do to get started shortly.
Yeah, and I can't also emphasize the value of the coaching enough, because I see, again, lots of people come into the practice, and I can kind of give them a brief summary of what they need to do, but I don't have all day to kind of teach them the exact things to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, how they should be working out, how they should address certain things like cravings, how they should deal with, other circumstances that come up, family situations. You're going to have access to a coach that's done it and has helped people lose weight, and you're going to have unlimited access to them. And again, that's pretty much unheard of, to have that type of access to someone that has so much knowledge and can really be able to help you figure out how to make this work for you. And again, to be able to have that, to have, again, 12 weeks of unlimited coaching, again, that is a pretty remarkable value.
So without further ado, we wanted to introduce you to our coach who is with us this evening on the call, and her name is Debbie Wilkins. She is a friend of mine. We've known each other for quite a while now, and we are actually business partners as well with Mom Sanity, which some of you may be familiar with. Debbie is extremely helpful and supportive and encouraging. She is honest. She just is so great at walking people through transformations. She coaches hundreds of women on a weekly basis through morning workouts, and just really is an inspiration to so many people. And so without further ado, Debbie, why don't you say hello to those of us on the call?
I am so excited to be a part of this webinar, and I've loved watching everybody chat on the side for the past hour, and I know that it's kind of information overload, which is why I am here to help you through the next 12 weeks to break it down into bite-sized pieces so it's not so overwhelming, so that you can make this a lifestyle that lasts.
Great. Debbie, tell us, what was your favorite part of coaching the May 2014 Trim Body Transformation Group?
I was talking about this with my husband actually a few hours ago, and I really think what stands out to me the most was, number one, the sense of community, that it is a safe place for people to be real and admit where they're struggling, but it's also a place to celebrate every small victory that people had along the way, whether they were feeling more energetic or their clothes were fitting differently, that they were seeing the weight go down, is really encouraging. So it's really fun. It's a really good thing.
Fantastic. And what are you excited about with this group getting started in September?
I want everyone to know that they can have the success that they have not had before. I saw on the side earlier the Slim Fast and Weight Watchers. It's so easy to feel like there is no way to have a solution. And having this NP Pro, this group together that is doing the journey day by day in the same place with such a clean protein powder, the results are going to come. So I'm excited for you in advance, knowing how great it is going to turn out.
Awesome. How would you describe your coaching style?
Crazy. No, I try to be really encouraging. I am a big fan of Grace as a former Lucky Charms addict. So I totally understand where you're coming from. We know that we're all going to fall off the wagon and we're going to dust ourselves off, get right back on, and it's going to be okay. So I try to be very quick in responding to any questions or discouragement that can come along, and I try to be very real.
Awesome. And we know that you are a huge fan of the Nature's Pearl 4.44 energy shots. Can you tell us a little bit about how you incorporate those into your day and how they've helped you along, as a busy mom of 4 rambunctious boys, how they can help you on those days that you just need a little extra something?
Oh my word. Okay, so I had 4 little boys in 4 years, and now they're ages 6 to 10, and it is never failing. I get up so early in the morning that I do have those afternoon crashes, and what I love about the energy shots is I don't feel jittery. I don't feel the need to paint the house and vacuum everything like I would if I had gone to a drive-through to get a cup of coffee. I just feel really level and really good. I'm able to sleep at night. It's not going to keep you jacked up for hours on end. And just knowing that it has over 100 antioxidants, that it's something that's not like in those creepy energy shots that are at the gas stations that I could never put into my mouth.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Debbie. I think you're going to have a great group to coach through the September 2014, taking us into the holidays. So it's going to be a great time, I'm sure.
I'm excited.
And here you can see that our closed Facebook page. This is from our May 2014 group, and actually we just got our September group up and going today. This is where the magic happens, where you have the opportunity to ask questions and to get the support, share recipes, ask for substitutions for your favorite foods, all those kinds of things. There's just a whole lot that happens here that we really can't even put into words. If you really use this page, then you are going to have that support and accountability that you need. And I do want to make one point. I saw a couple questions about, is this only for weight loss? And the answer is no. This program, as well as the shake in general, can be used as just a post-workout supplement. It can be used as for families. Our son has NP Pro probably 2 times a day. He's a relatively picky toddler eater right now. He lives for his NP Pro shakes. We make bars, we make muffins, we make popsicles. There's absolutely nothing in here that anyone in your family cannot have, unless they have some very unique sensitivities, of course. And that said, it also, no, you do not, absolutely, this is not a you must exercise program. We've had many people with exercise limitations that weren't even hardly able to walk at all that have taken part in the transformation and done extremely well. So I just wanted to point those 2 things out before we move forward.
Yeah, and again, we just wanted to say also how easy it is to interact with your coach. That's why I wanted to make sure that we did this closed Facebook page, because everyone's on Facebook, and you probably found out about us about this webinar through Facebook. But again, everyone's on there, so you just go on there. You can write a question. Debbie, like I said, I kind of follow along with it. And she does a great job about getting back in touch with people, answering their questions, being there for support. So again, this is really an incredible value to be able to have access to that type of training. So now you might be asking yourself, yeah, that all sounds great, but does this program really work? And and I can really say this without hesitation is that yes, this program does work. And kind of to go back to that question, it's not just for for losing weight. It works no matter what your age is, but also for whatever your health goal is. So we've been talking all about weight loss, and yes, it's very good for weight loss. But if your health goal is to have more energy, it's great for that. If your health goal is to have a better digestive system, it's good for that. If your health goal is to just be able to chase your kids around, that this is great for that too. So again, it really works no matter kind of what your age or health goal is.
And here are a couple of transformations. We wanted to just show you a couple of different folks and their stories, and hopefully some of them are on the call tonight. So this is Amy, and she has lost over 20 pounds. As you can see, she was not significantly overweight. She just wanted to get fitter and feel better, and she has done that, as you can see in this picture. Really just wanted to take charge of her health and feel leaner and fitter, and there she is, and she's doing it. So that's a great example of for her. And then moving along, we just mentioned earlier, this is not just for adults or for older people, or this is not age discriminant. This is definitely something that an entire family can do together, which the Schlabach family certainly has done. I wish I had their entire transformation picture on here, but he lost 40 pounds in now 9 weeks, and I think now he's down like 65 or 70 pounds or something like that, just from giving himself good nutrition. This is not about starvation or limiting calories. Kids and teenagers can do this as well. Amy, again, I wish I had a better picture, or a more recent picture. This was 16 pounds in 1 month, just from making some very basic changes, and now I think she's down at least 40 pounds, if not more. So, and then this is Donna, and she was one of our initial trial participants when we first went through the trial of our Trim Body Transformation. And you can see here, not only did she lose a significant amount of weight and gone down from a size 10 to a size 4, she talks about her energy here. Her blood pressure is now normal. So just some amazing results that we are seeing and hear about all the time. And it goes so much further than weight loss when people are really able to take back their health.
And again, we also wanted just to emphasize how, again, this is not just for weight loss, and this is for just kind of being healthy overall. But also we want to give you kind of realistic examples, because we all are realistic in this, is that we're not all going to become supermodels like with certain programs try to promote. We're going to provide you with a way to lose realistic results, to get you feeling healthier, to really kind of help you reach your health goals, and again in a way that is doable.
And this is Nancy, and again, she's still on her journey, and I don't even remember how many pounds she's down now, but these people have adopted this as a lifestyle, and this is our Trim Body Transformation lifestyle. So this is not I did this for 12 weeks and I'm done. I love when we get to attend Nature's Pearl events, and I get to run into people that I haven't seen for a couple of months that started on Nature's Pearl or started on NP Pro maybe back in January, and are still just continuing to have great results. And not that it's a quick fix, but they've learned how to adopt some basic principles into their lifestyle and figured out what works for their body so that they can live this way forever. So the question is, are you ready for your Trim Body Transformation?
Let's get some yeses in that chat box for those of you who want to join us and want to join Coach Debbie for this next round of the transformation, because again, I think it's going to be a good one.
So moving on to our webinar only special, we've already talked about one part of it, and we really want to encourage the camaraderie of the group in this go round. And so this time we are going to offer you, of course, the incredible value to have a personalized health coach for 12 weeks, which is valued at $1,000 or more. And you are going to get this coaching for completely free if you move forward and join the Trim Body Transformation tonight. And then on top of that, Coach Debbie is going to have the opportunity to nominate 3.
Anyone that participates and completes.
I'm sorry. Anybody that that participates and completes the challenge, the transformation, is going to receive a Mission Accomplished Mission 20 T-shirt from Nature's Pearl, so that you can wear your transformation around and show off that you actually completed the task. And we're going to send everyone who gets started, the specific instructions of how to do that. We're not going to go into lots of detail of the intricacies of that tonight, but you'll get instructions of how to make sure you get your Mission Accomplished T-shirt. And back to what I was saying earlier, sorry, I got so excited about it, I got ahead of myself. Coach Debbie is going to nominate the 3 people that she feels have given their all and have really given their best efforts to have the best transformation that they could. This is not necessarily the person that loses the most weight or the person that has this amazing transformation physically, but the person that she sees is really putting in the effort and doing the things that they need to do to do the best that they can. And she's going to nominate 3 people to us, and then we will choose your story and from your story and your transformation picture, the best transformation and Dr. Wiggy, in my opinion, and that person is going to win free admission to the 2015 Nature's Pearl International Convention that will take place in the spring of 2015. And I tell you what, we've gotten to attend the International Convention the last 2 years, and I look so forward to it every year. It is such an inspiring and motivational place, and I learn so much every time we go. I can't wait. So
I think it's a free ticket and free lodging.
Free lodging and free ticket and free lodging to the Nature's Pearl International Convention.
Which is a big deal. That's a good prize. So now again, in this, we're not trying to sell you on any of this. We're just trying to say, this is why we developed. This is the program that we did. But you may be asking, why are we doing all this? And I think for me, and I think for Emily too, is that we can kind of think of a good example that really kind of helps tie this in for why we're doing this. And it's because we've seen the results not only in friends and patients, but we've also seen how this has just transformed the health of our family. And this is a picture of my mother-in-law here, Emily's mom. And these pictures don't even do justice to what she's changed. You can kind of see the before pictures on the left and some of the after pictures on the right. And we probably should have just pulled her to be on this webinar as well, because she probably could talk for, I don't know, an hour about how much this has changed her life. But she looks like a completely different person. I mean, yeah. It's no joke.
And these pictures are less than a year apart. I believe this is early July and early April. And she started her weight loss journey last August, and then was able to incorporate NP Pro beginning in about February or March of this year, and has had phenomenal results since incorporating that great nutrition, the convenience that the NP Pro offers, as well as the muscadine supplement. Just has really helped her to take her transformation to the next level, and we could not be more proud of her. And we want families to be able to experience this together. I mean, when we get to see families of 4 and 5 that are just are shrinking and just bouncing off the walls with energy and telling us how much this transformation has changed their lives, and how all these things that they're able to do now and the ways they're able to bless other people with the energy that they have, and getting rid of sickness and disease. It's just really, really inspiring, and it's such a fantastic thing to be a part of.
So we are going to now hand this back over to Nature's Pearl representative Ashley to kind of tell you about what you need to do to join us and join Coach Debbie for this next Trim Body Transformation. All right, maybe we're not.
Ashley, you there?
Okay, we're not.
Can you guys hear me?
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Ashley, yay.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, perfect. All right. We want to thank Dr. Wiggy and Emily for that wonderful webinar. And after hearing the presentation and seeing all of those amazing results, I'm sure that everyone here is ready to take part in this life-changing transformation. So tonight, we have 2 great product packs for you to choose from. The first one that you can see on your screen is the Trim Body Pack. It includes 4 canisters of NP Pro, 2 Nature's Pearl Muscadine Seed Supplements, and 2 cases of our healthy 4.44 energy shot. And the cost of this pack is $219 plus tax and shipping in the U.S. But if you really, really want to get all the bang for your buck and really start a total life transformation, then you need to purchase the next pack, which is our Transformation Pack. This complete pack includes the 4 canisters of NP Pro, the 2 Nature's Pearl Muscadine Grapeseed Supplement, 1 case of the 4.44 energy shot, 1 bottle each of our toxic-free shampoo, conditioner, and ultra-free lotion, and 2 bottles of our muscadine juice. The cost of this option is $269 plus tax and shipping in the U.S. And as Dr. Wiggy and Emily mentioned in the webinar, our bodies are bombarded every day with toxins all day in so many ways. That's why these packs include our flagship Muscadine Grapeseed Supplement, our Healthy Energy Shot, and our Delicious Juice, and our Beyond Organic Toxic-Free Skincare. We believe to live a healthy life, you need to transform from the inside out, and these packs will help you do that. So once you select your pack, we're going to make it super easy for you to continue on the transformation. The pack you select tonight is going to be placed on a convenient monthly auto ship and will be sent to your address for 3 consecutive months until you complete the Trim Body Transformation Program. So new customers, if you can use the link that's on your screen, npprowebinar.com, again, that's npprowebinar.com, and please be sure, this is very important, please be sure to include in your order the name of the person who invited you to this webinar. And if you're already an existing customer or Pearl partner and you want to take part in this transformation, you can just click on the link below that for you and you can enter all your information there. So guys, over the past hour or so, I feel like we've all become really close, almost like we're already in our transformation family. And it's taken everything in me not to interrupt and blurt this right out. I'm a girl that loves surprises, and I don't like to keep secrets, and I'm sure you all are going to love this. The Trim Body Transformation is an amazing value. Dr. Wiggy is going to put everything up on the screen here that they went over before that you guys get, that includes the coaching, the Facebook, the weekly emails, the recipes, all of those great things. That's over $1,000 value. You're getting all of that. But we have something that's going to make this value even more amazing. What would you say if I told you that there is a way that you can get your product for free? Yes, free, absolutely free. And it's super easy. Let me just show you and tell you how easy. If you tell 3 people, just 3, about the Trim Body Transformation Program, and they make the decision to transform their lives, your next month's auto shipment will be absolutely free. That's it. All you have to do is tell your friends or family about this amazing opportunity, have 3 of them join you for the transformation, and your pack is free. Just send 3 people back to the webinar to watch the recording of what you just saw, have them visit npprowebinar.com to purchase a pack, and your product the following month is free. But wait, like you can see on the screen, that's not all. I feel like one of Santa's elves. I'm beyond excited to tell you about this part. Not only are you going to get your packs for free, you're also going to win a free 3-day cruise to the Caribbean for 2. So all you have to do is go get 3 people to join you on the transformation, and not only are you going to get your products for free, you're going to get a free cruise to the Bahamas. And when you're in the Bahamas, you're going to get to show off your new, lean, transformed body. So guys, this really is a win-win-win for you. You're going to lose weight and get healthy, get your product for free, and get to go to the Bahamas for free. I mean, the only thing you could possibly lose is the extra weight and unhealthy habits you may have formed in your life. So click on the links that Dr. Wiggy is going to put on the screen. Purchase your packs tonight and let the transformation revolution start with you. Trust me, you will not regret it, and you'll be doing yourself a favor.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Let's go ahead. If you guys are excited, just go and put that in the chat box too. If you're excited to kind of to be part of that. And I thought that was really quite a testament to what Nature's Pearl is doing here, about how much value they are throwing into this program, because again, just looking at the webinar only special, just having the coaching for 12 weeks. I mean, if you just bought the pack, for $219 and you get that for 3 months, you're still basically getting $400 worth of coaching for free, and then you throw in getting your auto ship pack for free the next time, as well as getting a cruise.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
I'm not sure how they're doing it, but I think it's pretty cool that they were able to come up with this program.
Absolutely, we're so excited to. It just keeps getting better. I mean. And talking over to Ashley this week as we were preparing for the webinar, she just kept telling me better and better things, and yeah. I just can't believe it. So it's really exciting. We're seeing a lot of questions about packages and whatnot. I encourage you, if you're a new partner, you definitely want to touch base with your more leader partner so that you can get details, any questions on that. But yes, these are the 2 packs for new customers that are going to make you eligible for the Trim Body Transformation. For everyone, if you want to be eligible for the cruise and getting your auto ship pack for free, then you need to make sure that you are on one of these 2 packs. So that's very important. And let's put the links back up again.
Yeah, and Ashley and Jack, if you could be answering kind of these business questions for these people that are asking, that'd probably be useful for us. Yeah. So we're gonna go back to that to the links here. But we also just want to point out that the links are also in the chat box up in that sticky message up at the top. Those links that are in there, they should hyperlink to another page. So if you click on the http://www.npprowebinar.com, that should take you to that order page. Same thing with that bit.ly link below there. The actual screen share that we're showing you here, you can't click on that. So no matter how many times you try, clicking on this link is not going to take you there. You can just simply just pull up a new tab in the browser and type it in. That's a simple way to get there. Same thing with the bit.ly link. But like I said, if you want to just click on it, we do have those links in the chat box up at the top in the admin notice. So for new customers, it's the NP Pro webinar link. For existing customers and partners, it's the bit.ly link with a couple letters and numbers there.
Mm-hmm. So if you are an existing customer that maybe you purchased NP Pro in the past, or have tried it out, then you can still use the npprowebinar.com link to go ahead and get started, and go ahead and purchase one of these packs tonight. If you are an existing customer or partner on AutoShip, then you want to use the second link to make sure to reconfirm, so that you can be added to the email list, so that you get all of the instructions of exactly what you need to do to get started with the Trim Body Transformation, and make sure that you're eligible to win your free product and your cruise. So as far as the timeline goes, if you'll go back to that slide, you actually have until the end of the month. So Nature's Pearl is being incredibly generous in giving us some time to find your 3 people that you want to have join you on your transformation. So make sure you order now, though, to make sure that you get your products in time for our Trim Body Transformation Kickoff, which will take place on September 2nd. That's a week from tomorrow. So you want to make sure that you get your product ordered so that you get it in time, so that you can start right away with everyone else in the Trim Body Transformation. But you do have until Sunday, the 31st, to qualify for your free product and your cruise. So
we're going to go ahead and open up for some questions here. If you have questions about the protein powder or the Trim Body Transformation, myself or Emily will probably get to that. If you have a question about the packs or about Nature's Pearl or the customer service stuff, that'll be answered by Ashley or Jack Talley that's on the call here as well. So they might be, or maybe one of the other partners that are part of Nature's Pearl. But if you have questions about Nature's Pearl or about the MP Pro or Trim by Transformation, go ahead and throw those in this chat box now, and we'll kind of get those as we see them. And just remember, there's a bit of a delay here. Looks like people are at least excited about it. So get your friends.
We see lots of people that say that they're joining the transformation, so that's awesome.
And another cool thing about the getting three other people on there and getting your next auto ship pack for free is that it automatically sets you up to an accountability group. So if you find three other people, three of your friends that are going to do it, you guys can go in and all do this together. And you guys can kind of check in and be sure that you're all helping keep each other accountable and sharing in each other's success and sharing each other's struggles. So a question here, are the shakes in place of the meals? Generally, yeah. So the way that the Trim by Transformation works is that we recommend 2 shakes a day. And that's part of the nutrition ground rules that you'll get as soon as you join. But it's 2 shakes a day, so you either can have it, and then we keep it flexible. So sometimes you can have it for breakfast or lunch or for dinner, but you can also use it as a snack. I'm not really doing the Trim by Transformation, but I still do 2 shakes a day just because I think it is just good for overall health. So I do it for breakfast, and then I do it for an afternoon snack.
You're not following the specific Trim by Transformation. We're in a maintenance mode, but we still typically use 2 shakes per day.
Right.
So we still eat this way, and we do follow this lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Dr. Wig is not in a fat loss mode right now, so we're in maintaining your health and your physique for the long run. I mean, this product and the ground rules and the overall nutrition can't be beat.
Vivian had a good question here. Is pea protein considered complete protein? Yeah, it is. Pea protein has all the essential amino acids that you need to look for in a protein powder. It's not as high in certain amino acids such as cysteine or methionine as there is in some of the other protein powders, but it still is considered a complete protein. And Jack, you can just type in the chat box if you can help out with the questions. You don't need to chime in.
And yes, so it is required that you order the pack on auto ship, or if you're an existing customer, that you do have a 4-pack on auto ship for partners and customers. So yes, auto ship is required to participate in the Trim Body Transformation. For those of you who are signing up, you will get a confirmation email with the instructions that you need to move forward. We'll have instructions to how you need to take your before pictures and exactly what you need to do with your transformation story later, as well as a link to the Facebook group, and we'll be capturing your emails so that we can make sure to add you to the weekly email list as well. You'll be getting all of that via email in the next couple of days.
And I saw a question about, does this work for hypothyroidism? Yeah, this is a good program for that because, yeah, hypothyroid actually it is more difficult when you're dealing with low functioning thyroid. So the first step, if you have that, is to make sure that your thyroid is optimized. Otherwise, again, most programs really are going to be much more difficult to begin with. So if your thyroid is optimized, though, then yeah, this program is a great thing to do. There was a question about the sodium caseinate. That's actually been removed from the label. That was more of a residue that was from the coconut milk powder. And for just complete transparency, we decided to put it on the label. But after further testing, the amount of caseinate was in the parts per million, and so it wasn't enough to keep it on the label. So we actually are having that removed. So.
Actually, the newer shipments of vanilla, it is already removed, and sodium caseinate was never an ingredient.
Right.
It was just a byproduct, and it was something that, again, we were trying to be completely transparent, but with that additional testing, found out that it was far, far from even needing to being able to be mentioned in any way on that label. So we're excited that is gone.
This should be fine for this to Alan. Any problems with high blood pressure medications? No, this should be fine. There is some actually evidence that muscadine grape seed, the capsules, that they can actually help lower blood pressure, and by controlling insulin resistance, that can also help lower blood pressure. So no, I think it'll be fine.
So people are asking about the natural flavors mentioned, and that's a great question because we're seeing more and more about natural flavors not being so natural in certain products. And our flavors are simply cocoa and cocoa powder and vanilla, organic natural vanilla. So it is not any.
Right.
There's nothing else added to any kind of flavoring. It is actually natural flavoring.
Yeah, it's vanilla and cocoa.
Yeah.
So that those are considered natural flavors. But because there was initially different types of flavoring options to use, but we want to make sure that it was all natural vanilla.
Questions about sweetener, and we did touch on this earlier, but stevia and natural organic stevia, be very careful and make sure you're reading labels to make sure that there are not added ingredients. That's what we suggest, and that's how our protein powder is sweetened. Dr. Wiege did mention there's a tiny bit of sugar in there, and we added that just for taste purposes, but our protein is so high and our carbohydrate number is so low that that little bit of sugar is nominal. It does not really make any difference.
The question about is there a relation with Xarelto? I'm not sure. I don't think that there'd be a problem with the muscadine grape seed or the capsules with any sort of blood thinners, but that's a question you're going to need to talk to your doctor about, and you're also going to make sure that you need to monitor your blood thickness levels with any sort of dietary change. So like I said, make sure you work with your doctor about that.
Someone asked about paleo diet healthy. Absolutely. Paleo diet is dairy-free, grain-free, and there's no dairy in here, and there's the only grains that are a part of it at all are a part of our fiber complex, and that's very little, but it's also completely gluten-free, wheat-free. So.
Yeah, the whole protein powder is non-GMO. And the cocoa protein powder, only a very small amount of caffeine. Question here about Splenda. Yeah, so Splenda I consider to be a toxin because actually, I'm pretty sure this is the way that they found Splenda, was that it was actually made initially to be a pesticide. But what they found out that what it was is that it tasted sweet, so they turned it into an artificial sweetener. So it's controversial about what you define as a toxin, but I just basically say anything that the body doesn't know how to process, what it does not know how to what to do with it, I consider that a toxin, and that includes any of the artificial sweeteners.
And do just a little quick Google search on the risks of Splenda or sucralose, which is the name for Splenda, and you will find plenty of information about the chemical process used to create it.
I've seen a couple questions about does this help with adrenal fatigue or adrenal insufficiency. Again, that's kind of a tricky question because adrenal fatigue is kind of a complicated process. Generally, people do well in this program because it does help stabilize blood sugar. It is fairly lower carb, so sometimes it's a little bit harder for people with some adrenal issues, but generally they can tolerate it okay, but it's really going to just determine how your body's going to respond. So I generally recommend trying it and seeing how your body feels. Yeah, this webinar is recorded, so you'll be able to watch this at any time in the next week or so.
And you'll be able to share it with others as well.
Yeah, the type of sugar, it's natural cane sugar. If anyone else if you guys want to share any success stories for those people that have done the protein powder and that have lost some weight, feel better, feel free to throw them in there as well. Yeah, again, question about blood thinners and the muscadine grapeseed or resveratrol. Again, that's a question you're going to have to work individually with your doctor about. All right, guys, if there's no other kind of last minute questions here, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the webinar for tonight. Thank you for everyone that stuck with us to the very end. Hopefully you're excited about the Trim Body Transformation and you're excited about all those awesome bonuses and specials that Nature's Pearl is also adding into this program here. So I think it's going to be awesome. We're super excited to be launching another one of these Trim Body Transformations of 12 weeks. And if you have any questions, you can always get in touch with the Nature's Pearl partner that introduced you to the webinar.
Have a great evening, everybody. And yeah, you'll be getting a replay in about an hour, and I will also include the links that you're seeing on your screen. You'll be able to share this with your friends and family members that weren't ever able to make it tonight. Remember that you have until the 31st to take advantage of these amazing offers that Nature's Pearl has provided, and we will be kicking off our transformation next Tuesday, September 2nd.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night. Thanks, Debbie.